This is the evening news for Tuesday, August 12, 2014. I'm Ruben Stobie. Thanks for joining us. Making the headlines tonight, QC dominates top spots at CSEC Cape. Increased passes recorded for mathematics and English. Rohi urges media to investigate reason behind the Kaiecho News crusade against Baishanlin. GWI launches monthly billing program, and teen reportedly confesses to murdering Pleasance woman. Now for the news in detail. Queen's College has dominated the top spots at this year's Caribbean Secondary Examinations CSEC and Caribbean Advanced Proficiency Examination CAPE. Here are the details.
Queen's College took back the mantle this year as its students copped most of the top positions at the CSEC and CAPE examinations. The results were announced by Education Minister Priya Manik Chan as she revealed the top 52 students who secured 11 or more grade 1s. Securing the top spot with 19 grade 1s and 1 grade 2 is Elissa Hamilton of Queen's College. She was followed by Skeldon Line Path Secondary School student Bharti Boj and fellow QC student Larissa Wiltshire with a tie of 17 grade 1s. This newscast caught up with some of the other students who were overjoyed with their performances. 17-year-old Varsha Budram of QC secured 15 grade 1s and 2 grade 2s. She was excited as she didn't expect to do so well.
I wasn't hoping for so much as well because it was quite a challenge when I was during the examination period. A lot of sleepless nights, a lot of lessons, and so I'm quite happy with what I got.
Fellow QC student Alia Abdul Qadir, who got 15 grade 1s, credited her hard work to her success.
Basically working hard and pushing yourself, because I had to wake up early for lessons, I had to go to bed late studying, but in the end it pays off. So if you want to do well, you just have to work hard, push yourself, and you can make it.
Meanwhile, the top performers for CAPE are Cecil Cox and Dewati Narain, both of whom secured grade 1 passes in 7 units. Andy Satan, who secured passes in 7 CAPE subjects, said that despite knowing he did well, he was still shocked when his results came out.
This year, all attributed to group work, team effort. My parents, family, in total, they all pitched in their parts, whether it was morally, financially, or whatever. Friends, we got together and did more group studying. And together. So, in all, I think it was a greater team effort this year from both families, friends, and of course, prayers.
Other top CAPE performers include Prashant Shivdas, Kileshwar Singh, Benedict Sukra, Akila Wiltshire, Sasha Woodruff, Chaitra Mohammed, and Karan Singh. Reporting for the evening news, Vanu Manikchan.
In this report, we hear that mathematics and English recorded increased pass rates.
This year's results have yielded overall increase in performance at the Caribbean Secondary Education Certificate CSEC examination. Education Minister Priya Manik Chan, who announced the results earlier today, noted that while the overall performances in mathematics and English remains unsatisfactory, the two subjects both recorded increased pass rates.
In mathematics, the grade 1 to 3 pass rate for 2014 is 38.7%. This indicates over a 9% increase from 2013 when we had 29% pass rate. The grade 1 to 3 performances in English recorded a marginal increase from 45.69% in 2013 to 46.98% in 2014. Performance in English B remained relatively constant. In 2013, the grade 1 to 3 pass rate was 61.06% and 61.45% in 2014.
Manik Chan pointed out that the mathematics and English pilot project implemented in some 41 schools have contributed to the improved performances in the two subjects across the country. The minister said that her ministry is considering a national rollout of the project.
The pilot program has done remarkably well, and I think it's shown us in 2 years that it is worthy of a national rollout. From pilot to now rollout. I say that with caution because the things that made the program successful, the monitoring, the frequent training of teachers, the frequent assessments, Those are the things that will have to roll out. So we can't just simply say we'll do this in every school and not make sure that the components are repeated in every school, or we won't see these kinds of results. So it would be something that we have to sit down around the table and talk about how a national rollout is going to work.
Some 13,724 students sat the CSEC examination in May-June. Of this, 37 were students from private schools. This year's examination recorded an overall pass rate of 60.21% when compared to 59.31% in 2013. A total of 35 subjects were written. Meanwhile, the Caribbean Advanced Proficiency Examination, CAPE, saw a slight decrease in the overall pass rates. This year, there was an 85.07% pass rate when compared to the 86.6% recorded last year. A total of 798 candidates wrote the exam. These students were from 9 secondary schools and 3 private institutions. Reporting for the Evening News, Vanu Manekchan.
The Anna Regina Multilateral Secondary School has once again placed Region 2 on the map of recognition, and again it has outshone other secondary schools on the coast by producing the top student for the region. Bibi Arifa Mohammed of the Anna Regina Multilateral School has copped the first position for the CSEC examination in Region 2. This was disclosed from a release by the Ministry of Education. This newscast tried to solicit a comment from Mohammed, however, was told by neighbors that Mohammed is presently overseas on vacation. According to teachers from the Anna Regina Multilateral School, Mohammed was always a high flyer and they knew she would have done well. Mohammed achieved passes in 19 subjects with 13 grade 1s and 6 grade 2s. The release said that the Anna Regina Multilateral Secondary School in the region has 4 students in the top 25 of the country. Education Minister Priya Manekchan today said her ministry is currently working around a system which will enable trained teachers who have breached their contracts to re-enter the education system. Alexis Rodney has details.
Speaking exclusively to the Evening News earlier today, the Education Minister says she is aware of close to 10 individuals who have indicated their interest in returning to the education system here. These are teachers who had passed through the training offered by the Cyril Potter College of Education. Minister Manekchan said her ministry is currently addressing ways to deal with their breach of contract.
The rule is you have to pay it off before you can be teaching again. So we're looking to see if we can relax that rule in any way, and what would be the implications of relaxing the rule, not only on the teaching profession but other service providers in the country. But what we see are more teachers returning to the country than we've seen, I wouldn't say in droves, but than we've seen really before.
She said teachers have offered to make their payments during their time teaching. She noted too that the ministry, while seeking to utilize the services of all necessary resources, is hoping not to breach any agreements that will cause trouble in other areas of service. Asked what is being done to prevent teachers from leaving the country, Manekchan explained that contracts are signed while passports and other travel documents are stamped. She said, however, that unlike previous years, fewer teachers are leaving the country. Manekchan recalled that many Guyanese had left home when countries like Belize, the Bahamas and Botswana were in desperate need of teachers. That situation has improved. Earlier in this year, questions were raised over the millions of dollars that were being spent on salaries for teachers who are known to have left the teaching service. Manekchan had told the National Assembly that although the situation was obviously a huge issue in the past, her ministry had put measures in place to address the problem. Reporting for the Evening News, Alexis Rodney.
PPP General Secretary Clement Rohi on Monday urged investigative reporting into the apparent conflict between Kaichur News and Bai Shanlin. Details in this report.
General Secretary of the People's Progressive Party Civic Clement Rohi on Monday refused to answer questions posed by Kaichur News about his concerns over the recent allegations made against the local timber company Bai Shanlin. Instead, Rohi called on journalists to investigate the reasons for the crusade against the company by the newspaper.
I've asked myself, I tried to tease my imagination to understand why is the Kaichur News why have they launched this crusade against Bai Shanlin? Is it that they asked Bai Shanlin for something and Bai Shanlin refused to give it to them? Is it that they tried to cut a deal with Bai Shenlin and the deal fell through? I don't know. But there's more in the mortar to the pestle. And I think a very good investigative journalist, some of who I see seated around this table, are quite capable of digging and digging and digging to find out really what is the beef that the Kaieteur News has with Bai Shenlin. There must be something in it. Something turned sour.
Rohi said it appears as though one media entity has launched a crusade against the Chinese company over the past months. This is evident with the number of articles carried as headlines by the newspaper. Today, a very large amount of space was dedicated to photos and articles on the Chinese logging company.
Highlighted by the Kaieteur News. That had been highlighted by the... I am giving my view.
Okay, yes.
My Tour de Horizon.
Pardon?
My Tour de Horizon. Tourdehorizon. It's a French Tour de Horizon. That is my overview of the media. I pay very close attention to them. Of the media over the past few months. I clearly discerned not only a campaign, but a crusade against this particular Chinese company.
For the evening news, Alexis Rodney.
22-year-old Devon Netherman was today remanded after being charged for the possession of narcotics. He appeared before Magistrate Anne McLennan in the Georgetown Magistrates Courts. The charge stated that on August 9, 2014, at Bent Street, Working-Ross, Netherman was found with 250 grams of cannabis for the purpose of trafficking. The defendant, who lives at Lot 58 Middle Street, Alboyston, was unrepresented and pleaded guilty to the charges. According to the facts which were read by Police Prosecutor Denero Jones, the defendant was found running into a yard with a bag from the prison wall. The police carried out their investigations and inquired about the bag. The bag was found and the defendant was taken to the police station. The value of 1 gram of cannabis is currently $400 Guyana dollars, according to Kanu. Netherman was fined $300,000 and 36 months imprisonment. If you have a news tip or a news story you would like our news team to follow, message us or WhatsApp telephone number 680-9630. You can also call us at our office 231-0382 or 226-2102, 223-7230 or 223-7231. Stay tuned to the evening news. Thanks for staying tuned. The police are reporting that about 21 hours last night, Monday, August 11, 2014, Rudolph Posad, 51 years, of Hog Island, Essequibo, and Roy Williams, 21 years, of Port Kaituma, Northwest District, were walking along a dam at northern Hog Island when shots were discharged in their direction. The police confirmed that Posad was hit to his abdomen and neck, while Williams was hit to his chest. They were taken to the Saudi hospital where Rudolph Posad was pronounced dead on arrival and Roy Williams was admitted for medical treatment. A man and a woman have been arrested and are in police custody, assisting with the investigations. Guyana Water Incorporated, GWI, today unveiled its monthly billing program as it strives to improve its customer service. Details in the Svetlana Marshall report.
With arrears totaling $1.4 billion, the Guyana Water Incorporated officially launched its monthly billing program, which took effect on August 1, with the anticipation of acquiring a higher payment rate. GWI Customer Services Manager Janet Thomas said the new arrangement will affect the 70,000 metered customers who were previously billed quarterly.
It affects the customers in that GWI's representatives, our meter readers, will be there at your premises every month to read your meters. We will also be there to deliver your bills on a monthly basis. And GWI staff delivering the bills, we hope to increase our efficiency in delivering the bills, and we also need to have a reliable billing schedule.
Thomas also called on metered customers to cooperate, saying meter readers should be given access to premises.
Very often we cannot gain access to customers' premises. They lock their gates or the meter is just not accessible. We are appealing to you to have your premises available that we can read your meters on a monthly basis. We bring your bills to you on a monthly basis, and in that we hope to receive our revenues from you on a monthly basis. Should we not be able to read your meter every month, your bills will be estimated. We do not want to be estimating your bills on a monthly basis. Hence our appeal to you to have our meter readers have access to your premises.
Billing and Revenue Control Manager Julie Ragnall said customers should be reminded that payments are due 28 days after the bill is generated, explaining that the bill be delivered 7 days before the due date.
Our delivery schedule will run for 3 weeks in all areas across GWI or across the country. And the bill delivery schedule will commence in the second half of each month and ends in the first week of the following month. So customers out there can look out for our personnel. We have our own GWI personnel who will be delivering bills, and they will commence bill delivery from the 14th or the 15th of every month. And like I said, that will run until the end of the month and ends in the first week of the following month. So the customers will have at least 1 week. They would receive that bill before the due date.
Jaigopal Ram, the executive director, who was also present at the launching held at the corporate complex, said there are tremendous benefits to be derived from this initiative. He explained that based on an evaluation conducted, GWI has a cash collection efficiency of 70%. However, with the monthly billing system in place, it can be adjusted by 75% by 2014 and 90% in 2016.
1 week after her body was found by her son, a teenager has confessed to murdering Jennifer Mendonca and is expected to face the courts. Details in this report.
An 18-year-old man is expected to be charged for the capital offense of murder after he reportedly confessed to killing 57-year-old Jennifer Ann Mendonca of Pleasant. Mendonca was found bound and gagged in her bed last Saturday evening by her son moments after he returned home from work. A police source confirmed that the teenager was taken into custody Monday evening, and it was during an interrogation that he confessed to the heinous crime. The teenager is well known to the now-dead woman and her son, since they would call upon him to assist with chores in and out of the house. He reportedly told Ranks that he committed the act in light of the current feud between the two families. He admitted taking the DVD player and a few pieces of jewelry to create an impression that it was a robbery murder. At the time the body was discovered, Mendonca's son had remained adamant that his mother had been murdered as a result of a feud between neighbors. For the Evening News, Alexis Rodney.
New York-based Guyanese lawyer Albert Baldio, a former Democratic district leader and the candidate for city and state office, was found guilty of obstructing justice on Monday, though he was acquitted of mail and wire fraud charges. U.S. Attorney Preet Bharara indicted Baldio 2 years ago for orchestrating a straw donor scheme to funnel illegal contributions to his 2010 campaign for city council. Baldio, Attorney Bharara alleged at the time, also asked his straw donors to lie to federal investigators once he learned the feds were probing the alleged scheme. Baldio, a Richmond Hill attorney who also nearly unseated a Republican state senator in 2006, faced 10 charges and was acquitted on all 3 related to mail and wire fraud, according to court documents. He was found guilty on the 7 other charges related to conspiracy and obstructing justice, a spokeswoman for Bharara confirmed. More news ahead. Please stay tuned to the Evening News. Welcome back. People's National Congress leader Brigadier David Granger has congratulated residents of the Upper Mazaruni district of the Cayunie-Mazaruni Region No. 7 for the successful hosting of their annual games, which opened at Keiko Village on Sunday, August 10. Brigadier David Granger, along with his wife Sandra and PNCR Vice Chairman Dr. George Norton, was invited by the management committee to bring greetings and to witness the games. Granger praised athletes from 12 villages which sent teams to the games this year. Some teams spent up to 3 days walking to reach Keiko. Granger complimented the teams, which were uniformly attired and displayed a high standard of sportsmanship and skill. Small and medium-scale miners in the mining industry are calling for the development of a bank that would offer loans at special rates to miners. Details in this report.
With tumbling gold prices on the international market and a staggering local gold mining industry, miners are calling for the development of a bank to cater to the needs of miners. The call for the bank was made as the second day of the GGMC organized auction for mining blocks got underway at Girl Guides on Brick Dam. The Evening News interviewed a few miners who all said that a special bank would solve some of the issues affecting the sector. They said that given the pre-existing constraints of the mining sector, it is unfair for them to acquire loans like any other businessman. The miners also highlighted the need for speedy introduction of the hire purchase legislation in the National Assembly. They said that presently they are at the mercy of hire purchase institutions, noting that if they miss payments, their equipment are usually repossessed. Shania Singh for the Evening News.
Freedom fighter Damon was remembered on Monday during a wreath-laying ceremony executed by the African Culture and Educational Association in Essequibo. Wreaths as well as fresh flowers were laid at the foot of the Damon Monument near the Anne Regina Car Park. The activity was part of emancipation celebrations in Region 2. The first wreath was laid by Region 2 Chairman Parmanand Prasad. Prasad said the monument represents the heroic African domestic laborer Damon, who was executed for his role in the protest against a new system of apprenticeship. Prasad told those in attendance at the wreath-laying ceremony that laborers went on strike on August 3, 1834, refusing to work only half-day while demanding their freedom. The Guyana Women Miners Association and the Guyana Gold and Diamond Miners Association have proffered conflicting views on the ongoing efforts of the government to boost gold production. Here are the details.
The GWMO and GGDMA have offered different views on the current auction organized by the government and GGMC to make more lands available for miners. GWMO President Simona Brooms opined that the auction will not solve the woes plaguing the sector. She said that only the large and medium-scale miners will have access to the more profitable mining blocks, while the small-scale miners will be left with the rejects. She explained that this is so because the large and medium-scale miners have more resources available at their disposal, but GGDMA President Patrick Harding said that the auction will be helpful. He said more lands will be available, which equates to increased mining activity. This will also mean more production in the mines, hence raising the declaration of gold. Shani Singh reporting for the Evening News.
The Education Ministry, in an effort to further strengthen the delivery of technical vocation education and training TVET in schools and TVET institutions across Guyana, is hosting a 5-day workshop at the Churchview Hotel in New Amsterdam, Berbice. The workshop is being held for all senior staff members from TVET institutions across Guyana as the ministry explores new and improved strategies for enhancing the delivery of a higher quality of TVET education and as the new school year beckons. The workshop commenced on August 11. Assistant Chief Education Officer Technical Patrick Chinedu Onwuzariki posited that the workshop was designed based on the changing dynamics of the Guyanese workforce as observed by the ministry through employers' demands made to TVET institutions regarding the need to match the TVET skill and knowledge offered by TVET institutions to that of the modern Guyanese work environment. More news still ahead. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the Evening News. With news from the region, Venezuela says it has deployed 17,000 troops along its border with Colombia, which was closed on Monday for the first time as part of an anti-smuggling operation. Up to 40% of goods Venezuela subsidizes for its domestic market are smuggled to Colombia, where they are sold at much higher prices. The border was closed on Monday night and will be each night for a month. The move has been agreed with the Colombian government. Internationally, rioting broke out for a second night in Ferguson, Missouri, despite calls yesterday for calm from the mother of a black teenager who was shot to death by police during the weekend. Police clad in riot gear released tear gas to disperse a crowd estimated in the hundreds gathered near a building that burned during Sunday night's rioting, Ferguson Police Chief Tom Jackson said. Jackson said officers were focused on dispersing the crowd, which was much smaller than the night before, but were making arrests and reported being fired on at some locations. Michael Brown, 18, was shot to death in the mostly black St. Louis suburb of Ferguson on Saturday afternoon after what police said was a struggle with a gun in a police car. The FBI opened a probe into the racially charged case. A witness in the case told local media Brown had raised his arms to police to show he was unarmed before being killed. It's now time for the bridge reports. The Demerara Harbour Bridge is expected to be closed from 14:30 hours on Wednesday, August 13, 2014, for a period of 1.5 hours. The Burbridge River Bridge is expected to be closed from 16:05 hours on Wednesday, August 13, 2014, for a period of 1.5 hours. Stay tuned. This sports news is next. It's now time for sports. In the headlines, Chris Gayle optimistic of finding form against Red Steel. Youth Olympic team departs for China, and Cougars reach semi-finals of Hope Memorial Football. The sports news comes to you with the kind compliments of Macorp.
We believe that everything worth building should be built just once. That is why we build on culture, on trust, on integrity. We exist to do more, better, faster, safer. Your success depends on the foundation it's built on. Everything we do is meant to move you forward. Macorp, let's build Guyana together.
We begin with cricket news. The Jamaica Talawas and the Trinidad and Tobago Red Steel will both be looking to recapture their early tournament form as the Limacol Caribbean Premier League CPL reaches the semi-final stage. More in this report. Chris Gayle and Dwayne Bravo will go head-to-head tomorrow, Wednesday, August 13 at Warner Park, St. Kitts to decide which team will face the challenge of playing Dinesh Ramdin's Guyana Amazon Warriors on Thursday. The stakes are high as the prize for the winners will be to battle against the Barbados Tridents in the final on Saturday. Jamaica Talawas captain Chris Gayle feels that a chance to go up against his friend Dwayne Bravo will be all the incentive he needs to play himself back into form and help his team beat the Red Steel. Chris Gayle said he blames Dwayne Bravo for the Talawas being in the position they have found themselves in after the Red Steel lost to the Antigua Hawksbills at the weekend. The big hit in Jamaican added that he always regains his form when he faces Bravo, so he's looking forward to the challenge of playing the Red Steel. Trinidad and Tobago Red Steel coach Simon Helmut said the Red Steel are not going into their semi-final game in great form, but the Red Steel are a good team, well led by Dwayne Bravo, and is confident his team will demonstrate the type of form and attacking cricket they showed earlier in the tournament. Meanwhile, looking forward to the second semi-final on Thursday, coach of the Guyana Amazon Warriors Roger Harper said he does not mind which team the Warriors play since they are concentrating on playing the best cricket they can each day in practice sessions and ensuring the players are preparing well for the matches. Captain of the Guyana Amazon Warriors Dinesh Ramdin said the Amazon Warriors had a good rest day this week and their minds are now turning to Thursday's game. He said he's determined to win the game, which would take the Amazon Warriors into the final in good shape. The Limacol Caribbean Premier League semi-finals will take place at Warner Park, St. Kitts, with the Jamaica Talawas playing the Trinidad and Tobago Red Steel at 16 hours tomorrow, Wednesday, August 13, with the winner contesting the second semi-final against the Guyana Amazon Warriors at 16 hours on Thursday, August 14. 4 athletes departed the shores today to participate in the Youth Olympics, which gets underway from August 16 in Nanjing, China. The squad is made up of Olympic swimmer and recent Inter-Guyana Games gold medalist Brittany Van Lang, swimmer Hannibal Gaskin, Carifta 400 meters bronze medalist Jason Yaw, and Guyana's top table tennis player Chelsea Edgehill. Hosts Hope Football Club will be counting their lucky stars as Cougars sent NA United packing on Sunday when action in the Hope Memorial Football Competition continued at the Burnham Park in Berbice. Both NA United and the Cougars just needed a draw to make it through, but with the rivalry between the two clubs, bragging rights were also at stake. After a 0-0 halftime break and the supporters of the host club getting uneasy, Jamal Butts scored the game's lone goal in the 65th minute for Cougars. NA United will now have to watch from the sidelines as Hope FC are in the semi-finals. And finally, cricket. South Africa beat Zimbabwe by 9 wickets inside 4 days in the one-off test at Harare Sports Club today to reinforce their position as the top-ranked team. The South Africans easily knocked off the 41 runs they needed in their second innings, finishing on 44 for 1 to seal victory and follow up a series win over Sri Lanka last month under new captain Hasim Amla. South Africa earlier bowled Zimbabwe out for 181 in its second innings after off-spinner Dane Pide took 4 for 62 to increase his match haul to 8 wickets on debut. Fast bowlers Dale Steyn and Marnie Markel picked up 3 wickets each in the second innings as Zimbabwe's initial resistance was swept away and it slumped from 98 for 2, losing 8 wickets for 83 runs on the final afternoon. Steyn, the top-ranked bowler in tests, finished with match figures of 8 for 84, and South Africa were seldom in trouble on a slow, lifeless pitch in Harare that the visiting batsmen and bowlers both took a little time to work out. And that has brought us to the end of the evening news for today, August 12, 2014. Please remember to get a copy of tomorrow's edition of the Guyana Times for details on these stories and other news. I am Ruben Stobie. Thanks for joining us.